Good evening, little dreamers. Tonight we journey into a magical forest where a beautiful princess named Snow White discovers the true meaning of kindness. Snuggle up as we begin her enchanting story.
Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a kind and beautiful princess named Snow White. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips red as a rose, and her hair black as ebony. In a bright kingdom, Princess Snow White grew up surrounded by laughter and love, especially from her kind father. Her mother had passed away when she was very little. As years passed, her father remarried, hoping to bring motherly love back into their home. The new queen was beautiful but cold-hearted. Snow White always tried to be kind to everyone, even her new stepmother, hoping she would love her back. Snow White's stepmother, the queen, possessed a magical mirror. Each day she asked,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?"
For years the mirror answered,
"You are my queen."
But one day the mirror replied,
"Snow White is the fairest now."
The queen's heart filled with envy, and she started planning to get rid of Snow White.
How can Snow White be the fairest? I must find a way to get rid of her so I can be the most beautiful once again.
A kind huntsman sent by the queen to harm Snow White found himself unable to hurt her. Instead, he warned the princess of the danger. Snow White ran away into a deep, dark forest to hide from the queen's anger. The forest was scary, but Snow White's courage and the hope of finding kindness kept her going. Snow White said to herself,
"I must keep going no matter how scared I am."
Snow White stumbled upon a cottage, home to 7 dwarfs who mined jewels from the heart of the mountains. They saw how sweet Snow White was and invited her to stay. In return, Snow White took care of their home, and they all became great friends. She brought joy and laughter to their little cottage, making it feel like home for everyone. But evil did not rest. The queen discovered Snow White was still alive. Disguised as an old woman, she visited Snow White with a basket of apples, one poisoned to the core. Queen offered the apple and said to her,
"Here's an apple for you, my dear. Take a bite, and all your dreams will come true."
Snow White, trusting and kind, accepted the gift and took a bite.
"Thank you, kind lady. How generous of you."
Snow White replied. The poisoned apple cast a spell on Snow White, plunging her into a deep sleep. Her friends, the dwarfs, placed her in a glass coffin in the forest glade. Everyone hoped that somehow Snow White would wake up. The forest animals gathered around, keeping watch and hoping for a miracle. A prince, touched by the legends of Snow White's kindness, came looking for her. With a kiss born of true love, he hoped to awaken her. As his lips met hers, the spell was shattered. Snow White woke up, and everyone was happy again. Snow White's heart was filled with joy as she opened her eyes.
"Thank you for saving me, kind prince. I feel so happy to be awake again."
Snow White and the prince returned to the kingdom and ruled with kindness and justice. The kingdom flourished because their leaders cared about their people, and they lived happily ever after. The end.
So, dear friends, our story shows us how being kind and trusting can lead us through dark times. Snow White's sweet nature and the love from her friends helped her find happiness again.
Remember, kids, always be kind and brave. Your goodness will shine through even the darkest times.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fairy tales. See you next time.